My charming and fair-minded Libra friend, hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Libra, this week dawns with a hush, yet there's a restless undercurrent moving beneath your calm. You may sense a tension in the air, almost as if you're holding your breath around others, unsure whether to speak your truth or to keep the peace. There is a quiet ache that comes from weighing options too long, or from replaying the same conversation in your mind, one you wish had gone differently. You might find yourself picking up on subtle signals, reading between the lines, and wondering if you're missing something vital. The desire to be understood, to feel balanced in your own skin, presses in softly but persistently. It's that familiar urge to smooth things over, to find the middle ground, but lately, even compromise feels like a small defeat. The world asks for harmony, but your heart carries questions that don't settle easily. Underneath social graces and practiced smiles, you sense a longing for a peace that's more than just the absence of conflict. This week brings you face to face with the quiet cost of carrying too much for too long. The 5 of Swords appears for you not as an accusation, but as a mirror to your current emotional posture. In your inner world, you may feel the weight of recent misunderstandings. Perhaps a conversation ended too abruptly, or a difference of opinion has left you standing alone, even in a crowded room. There is an edge to your thoughts, a sense that you've had to defend your choices or explain yourself more than feels fair. Maybe you've noticed a hint of resentment creeping in, or a fatigue that settles into your bones after trying to mediate, smooth, and make things right for everyone else. Sometimes, you wonder if you've lost something essential along the way, a piece of your own voice, traded for the sake of keeping the peace. There can be a subtle ache that comes from wanting to be heard and understood, but not wanting to create waves. Perhaps you replay certain moments, thinking of what you could have said, or how differently things might have gone if you had chosen to speak up, or chosen to walk away. The tension is not only external, it's internalized, felt in your chest when you remember the look in someone's eyes after an argument or the silence that follows a disagreement. You might feel pressure to justify your feelings, to prove your intentions, even when your heart simply wants to rest. This is not the kind of conflict that erupts dramatically. Instead, it's the quieter, more persistent kind, the kind that gnaws at you when you're alone, making you question whether you're being fair to yourself or to others. Underneath it all, there's a longing to be seen as you are, without having to fight for your place, your feelings, or your truth. That longing shapes your posture this week, drawing you inward for reflection, even as life calls you outward to engage. From this inner landscape, your path begins to unfold, shaped by the ripples of what you're carrying. The tension and subtle fatigue you feel are not just background noise, they set the tone for the choices and pressures that await you this week. When you hold back or compromise too much, it creates a residue that seeps into how you show up for others. Your longing for peace and connection becomes the very thing that makes you sensitive to moments of discord. It's as if your inner state is a tuning fork, resonating with every minor conflict or misunderstanding, drawing your attention to what still wants resolution. The path ahead is not random, it's a natural extension of what you're feeling now, inviting you to notice how your emotional stance shapes what arrives at your door. In small ways, you're already steering the week's events by what you hold inside. The 10 of Cups emerges here not as a simple reward, but as a reflection of what's possible when heartfelt pressures meet the world's demands. This is a card often associated with fulfillment and harmony, But in your current context, it's more about the negotiation between longing and reality. You may feel a pull toward togetherness, craving moments where friction dissolves and everyone feels at ease. Yet, there's an undercurrent of pressure, whether from family, friends, or even your own ideals, to keep things running smoothly, to ensure that everyone is content. The momentum of the week may bring opportunities to reconnect, to share in joyful moments, or to repair recent rifts. But with those opportunities comes the friction of expectation. You might feel responsible for holding things together, sensing that your actions or inaction can tip the balance in a gathering, a partnership, or a group. There's a sense of motion here, a current that asks you to step into your role as a bridge, even as you wrestle with your own fatigue. You may be asked to host, to mediate, or to bring people together. The desire for belonging is strong, but it's threaded with a quiet fear that true harmony might require you to keep suppressing your own needs. The pressure isn't always overt. Sometimes it's just a glance, a sigh, or the subtle way a conversation shifts when you enter the room. These moments test your ability to stay centered, to participate in shared joy without losing sight of your individuality. The Ten of Cups here is not about effortless happiness, but about the delicate dance of tending to relationships while honoring the emotional truths you've carried into the week. Yet, the path from tension to possibility is not automatic. The potential for genuine connection, for mutual understanding, does not simply unlock itself. It requires a conscious turning toward what feels tender or unresolved. If you move through the week on autopilot, it's all too easy to slip back into old patterns, agreeing to things you don't want, keeping quiet when your voice matters, or overextending yourself in the name of keeping everyone else comfortable. The change begins when you recognize that your presence in these moments can shift the energy. With gentle awareness, your choices become more intentional. The potential waiting for you is not a guarantee, but an invitation to meet each moment as it is with honesty and kindness rather than simply reacting to the pressures around you. The more you notice your own needs, the more you can bring them into the spaces you share with others, slowly, thoughtfully, and without drama. The Six of Pentacles arrives as the shape of your potential, offering a vision of balance rooted in mutual exchange. Growth this week is not about grand gestures or heroic sacrifices. Instead, it's found in the small, steady acts of giving and receiving, moments when you allow support to flow both ways. Perhaps you notice where you've been giving out of habit, or where you've hesitated to ask for what you need. There is a gentle invitation here to experiment with a more equitable rhythm in your interactions. This does not mean keeping score, but rather tuning in to the subtle signals that let you know when it's time to offer and when it's time to receive. The Six of Pentacles suggests that your relationships can become more nourishing, not because you've solved every problem, but because you're willing to show up honestly and share the load. Imagine what becomes possible when you let yourself receive care, or when you trust that your needs matter as much as anyone else's. The week's tension softens when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to accept help, or to express gratitude for the support that arrives. Growth is an unfolding process, not a fixed destination. Each small act of fairness or mutuality plants a seed for deeper trust and connection. The invitation is simple yet profound, to step into a new pattern where balance is not just something you create for others, but something you cultivate for yourself too. With each conscious choice, you move closer to the kind of fulfillment that feels true and lasting, even in the midst of life's messiness. As the week moves from tension to possibility, a quiet transformation takes place. The Five of Swords reminded you of the inner cost of carrying conflict, of the fatigue that comes from trying to hold everything together alone. The Ten of Cups brought you back to the longing for connection, showing you the pressures and joys that arrive when hearts gather and hopes mingle. The Six of Pentacles offered a way forward, not by demanding more from yourself, but by inviting a gentler, fairer exchange with the world around you. Together, these energies form a living tapestry, one where your needs and gifts are woven alongside those of others. It's not about perfect harmony or easy answers, but about creating space for all that you are, tender, thoughtful, sometimes weary, always reaching for a deeper peace. In this landscape, reassurance comes not from avoiding conflict or striving for an impossible ideal, but from recognizing your own worth within the web of connection. You are not alone in your longing. Each step you take toward balance, however small, becomes a quiet affirmation that your feelings matter, your needs have a place, and your presence brings something irreplaceable to every room you enter. As this week unfolds, let yourself rest in the knowledge that growth is possible, not because you push harder, but because you allow yourself to receive as much as you give. In the gentle give and take of daily life, you find the peace that endures. Actionable insights for Libra this week. Let yourself sit quietly with a feeling before speaking about it. Try accepting a small gesture of help, even if it feels unfamiliar. Notice where you can share an honest thank you without expectation, spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I welcome the truth of how I feel. I am open to giving and receiving support. My voice carries value even in silence. I trust that balance can grow within me. I am enough just as I am. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.